Hi everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. You really liked my last visit to the Growing Grounds greenhouse, so I decided to come back. But this time I'm not here to look at the greenhouse. I want to take you inside to show you one of the most amazing Anthurium collections I've ever seen. So, let's go! Sorry! Much better.
Next time, knock.
Okay. Back by popular demand, I'm back with AJ over here, and this time we're at the Growing Grounds indoor greenhouse, which isn't really a greenhouse, it's really a tent, and it houses a lot of amazing Anthuriums. AJ, do you want to tell us a little bit more about this setup before we look at some of the species that caught my eye?
Yes, so as you can see, we're in a spaceship right now.
Pretty much.
There's lots of silver, but it basically works as a reflectant and helps with using every little bit of light that's in here, which is not all that much, which is really good. But the reason why I did this and why I got the tent in the first place was because I'm able to control the temps and the environment a lot more better than outside. As you know, we're in Australia, so we get some crazy weather. But having this tent inside means that I can keep it at a stable temperature and humidity all year round. So yeah. Perfect.
So how do you actually do that?
Well, I have a bit of magic. So I use some really cool lights. Now, firstly, let me just say, these aren't all mine. I wish they were. They aren't all mine. So this is a share collection. I'm helping care for some of them that aren't mine. Some of them are mine. And the cool thing is by doing that means we can breed them all together and have more of an option when it comes to making hybrids. So yeah, so pretty much all I do at the moment is I just keep them in here, keep them warm, keep them happy.
Nice.
The temp is created purely by the lights, which is really cool. I actually didn't anticipate that to happen, but the heat that comes from the lights warms the tent perfectly. Obviously, because it's closed up, then the moisture from the pots creates humidity, so I don't have to do anything there. The only one thing I have to do is just make sure there's adequate airflow and that the temps just don't get too high. But that's really it.
So it's actually a pretty low effort setup.
Yeah.
It looks pretty involved. I suppose it's not really something the average grower might do. It seems really involved, but there was something you just mentioned earlier. You're talking about creating hybrids, and we spoke about that before as well. You actually consider this to be a breeding collection. So I suppose the entire purpose of this collection isn't necessarily to be on display at all times.
Yeah,
it's much more to actually create some interesting hybrids or bring out the best in some of these species.
That's it. So really, we're just growing them. Well, actually, I haven't grown these to start with. So the person who started growing these already kind of weevilled out all the ones that didn't do as well as he was hoping to. So we're kind of left with a bunch that grow really, really well in our climate, and therefore hybridizing them makes it even more easier. A lot of them come from similar regions, and they're the ones we tend to try and hybridize. But yeah, they all are really good growers, and a lot of them are already hybrids, so the hard work's already done. We just have to try and pollinate and see which ones want to stick.
Thing is, when I create hybrids, I literally just create hybrids using the 2 Anthurium inflorescences that I actually have. There's no creative process going behind it. I don't really look for...
Bear in mind, even just doing that sometimes is tricky, because sometimes some hybrids don't want to stick and they can't hybridize together. Yeah. So the fact that you got that to work...
It worked,
is great.
Yeah. Well, which is great, but I mean, obviously with you've taken a much more professional approach to this. You actually...
Well, I'm not a professional. First of all,
I didn't say that.
And I'm learning a lot, and I still have to learn a lot. I'm nowhere near a pro at this yet, but I'm getting there in the sense that I'm starting to understand which ones hybridize better, which ones produce more inflorescence, which ones take longer to produce seed, and which ones are just an all-round better grower, really. For instance, these guys here.
Yeah, let's talk about them, because I mean, they're really the ones that
I would love to say these were mine, but they are not, and I'm bloody sad that they're not. But one day I will be able to grow one up nice and big for myself, I'm sure.
So what are they?
So these are actually hybrids in themselves. So this, I believe, is a Magnificum forgetii hybrid or crystal forgetii hybrid, and the same with this guy. Although I think this one's kind of got more of the crystal parentage. Whereas this one almost has a closed sinus. It's super close to being closed, and you can see in the previous leaves they're almost closed as well. But they're variegated.
Yes.
And they're beautifully variegated too, so they're not too yellow, because sometimes when you get that really intense yellow, it can brown a little bit, but these ones have been growing out really beautifully.
Yeah, often when I see variegated Anthuriums online, they look a little bit sick to me, but these actually look sickening. So, no, these actually look really nice.
Yeah,
I actually like the look of those. And judging by this as well, so clearly the variegation actually changes as the leaf matures. So it seems to be coming in a little bit darker and then actually going light over time. I mean, if I look at this new leaf over here, you can't actually see any variegation, so it would be quite interesting to see if this shows variegation later on.
Sometimes they can go quite orange, and then it will be quite highly variegated, and when it's quite dark, it's not going to have as much. But either or, whether it's got a lot or not, they're still beautiful.
So I'm assuming they were random variegation. So they would have been grown from seed.
They would have started that way, yeah. So someone, lucky bugger, would have found it and then decided, oh my god, I need to breed it. And you can breed it in two ways. We can propagate it like we do with philodendrons and monsteras with the nodes. You can find nodes in the sections at the back here where the roots are and the different sections, and you can just cut it as long as it's got a growth point, which there's one right here, as you can see, and there's even one right at the back.
Oh yeah, there's a little one.
And so you can chop between them, and you can actually propagate by stem cutting as well.
Okay.
Another really popular way is just using inflorescence and creating berries.
So I know that the variegation is random, and there's no guarantee that if you actually get this to pollinate and you create seeds, that the seeds will show variegation. But do you think that if both parents were variegated, the likeliness of the seeds being variegated is higher as well? But you still got to be lucky after all, right? So
yes. Well, I mean, let's face it, variegation is a virus in any plant. So plants, especially when they're starting off from seedlings, they're going to try and fight it and be normal and not variegated. But you do have a higher chance if they're both variegated. You also have a high chance if the mother plant, so the plant that's taking the pollen on and having the berries, is the variegated plant. If you take pollen from something that's not variegated and put it on this, you've got a high chance. If you do it the other way around, not a very high chance at all.
I have one variegated Anthurium actually, and I just got it as a seed pack. It was just
it was
6 seeds, and it was just a random one. Actually 5 died and 1 survived, and the one that survived actually ended up being variegated. And neither of the parents actually had variegation. So you can get lucky, but I suppose it will make the plant suffer a little bit as well, right?
It does slow it down a little, but I mean, you can see how healthy these guys are.
Yeah,
and they
are in perfect conditions. So.
They're just as well. I mean, you look at some of the others in here, and some of the others struggle. I think the hybrid itself, it's not even the variegation, the hybrid itself is really helps it get along in here. You have some of the other hybrids, like Pappy hybrids and like high altitude hybrids, and they kind of struggle a little bit in here. They do grow. But this one, even though it's variegated, it's doing
let's maybe talk about that. Alrighty, so AJ just mentioned that there are a few hybrids that could be a little bit easier, some hybrids that are a little bit trickier. Now, for the average person that doesn't have an amazing spaceship tent like you have that provides these Anthuriums with perfect conditions, can you point out a few hybrids or a few, I mean, there's so many different hybrids that could be out there, of course, but a few things, a few hybrids from specific parents that you would recommend for people that are growing in your more average indoor setting, potentially?
100% would recommend anything with the Magnificum hybrid or Crystallinum hybrid. They're such a good starter in Anthurium.
Which these two are?
These are both Magnificum hybrids.
Okay.
They are just such good growers, and they're very solid. So this one's just a new leaf, so you can see it's very like flimsy still. This will harden off to something like this. It's like almost like leathery.
Yeah, it's quite
thick,
which is great. Actually.
Yeah, and it's just a bit more robust. You also get a lot of size as well with these guys, and you don't have to have a greenhouse to grow these. They're quite happy. I mean, obviously I can grow them to like extreme sizes. These have had a chop back for spring for new foliage, as you can see, and they're just really easy growers, and you can breed them really easily with others as well, so you can have a bit of fun doing that.
So how do you know that this is a Magnificum hybrid? Is there like a specific trait that Magnificum has. I mean, I know that there's a lot of talk about like, oh, these are like, you know, pure species. Whenever we're talking about Anthuriums,
Yeah.
I would anticipate that none of them are pure species unless you paid a lot of money for it.
Well, not even that.
So I would always,
unless
I would
you
assume
can-
everything is a
yeah.
hybrid, but what's like a common feature of Magnificum hybrids? So you know that, well, it's a Magnificum hybrid and not a Clarinervium hybrid or a Crystallinum hybrid. Is there something that kind of is unique to
There
them?
are some characteristics that are common to Magnificum. It's the square petiole, it's the lower lobes. Sorry, you have to forgive me, my terminology is not that great.
Oh, neither is mine. Like,
but-
this is perfect. This is for the average person. Oh, actually, hang on, you said square petioles. I think this
Yeah.
one shows it quite well.
Yeah, this one shows it really well.
If we're zooming in on this, yeah, you can really see that the petiole has edges. It's
Yeah.
actually square. That's really interesting to know. I did notice that on a few of my Magnificums as well,
Yeah.
actually. I didn't
then
realize
see-
it was unique to them.
Well, I mean, I think there are some other hybrids
Yeah.
that have it too, some other different ones, but it's well known for them. Like this one in particular has quite a smooth one, but if you actually feel it, you can feel the ridges where it was. So obviously the hybrid that this is mixed with has taken over a little bit where the petiole is.
Yeah, you can see
See,
that.
it does
over
have
here,
a
maybe a
ridge.
little bit.
But it's quite closed.
Yes. Oh, that's
yeah.
interesting. I didn't know that. All right, we're back with another hybrid. I think this one is quite interesting. So, AJ, tell us a little bit more about it. What do we have here?
Yes, so this beautiful one is a red beauty. Pretty simple Anthurium. It's not all that complicated in the way it grows. It can grow just about anywhere. But you can see where it gets its name from, red beauty, that beautiful red tinge of these new leaves coming out. And even when they harden, they still have this bit of a brown, reddish tinge. This one's a bit sun-kissed on this leaf, so we'll ignore that one. But and they come out with these beautiful red flower inflows. Like this is probably one of the prettiest inflows I've seen on an Anthurium that we use to breed. I'm sure there's prettier, but for me, it's prettiest. So the cool thing about this one is you can breed this one with this big beast down here. This is a Anthurium veitchii, which has shocked me with this gigantic leaf.
That is huge.
Which is
It's
ridiculous.
unbelievable, yeah.
Which we've almost decapitated already, but you know, that's what happens when they're soft and so flexible and delicate. This leaf was a very big surprise. I genuinely did not think that I would ever have a leaf this large in this
It's
in
huge.
this tent.
It's crazy. I think
Very impressive.
maybe like put myself next to it for scale.
It's huge. But pretty much you can hybridize the red beauty and the veitchii, and then you can come up with something like this. It's
That's
actually
beautiful.
gorgeous.
Yeah, it has the color,
Yeah.
but it has the shape from
Yeah.
the
So
veitchii,
it has
right?
the-
So
yeah, it has the
very
ribs from the
clear,
veitchii.
very clear features of both
Yeah.
of both parents.
Yeah.
That's great.
So they call it the red veitchii. I think it's a beautiful hybrid. I think
Yes.
it's great to have in a collection where you've got lots of silver and green, and you can break it up with something like this with this beautiful deep red brown tone. But it's
And
so
it probably
pretty.
has the potential to grow really large like this as well, then, right?
I don't think
Oh.
it'll get as much length as this,
Yeah.
but bear in mind every hybrid that comes out is going to be slightly different. You're not always going to have exactly the same hybrid within the multiple seeds. One seed might look more like this, whereas one seedling will come out more like this, or another seedling might come out with more like a veitchii look, but with a bit of a darker tone. So you've got the potential
Yeah, I
to
mean, it's
kind
like
of have all sorts of different hybrids come
you
out
don't
of
look
it.
like your siblings, you know what I mean? Even if it's not hybrids, even within species, like each specimen in itself is still its own
Exactly.
specimen,
They
like
all
and can
look
have
different.
features, even based on environmental conditions, right?
Yeah, exactly right.
All right.
All right.
There's another type. There's another group of hybrids that I really want to look at because they're known to be quite on the easy side. So let's have a look at some Clarinerviums.
Yes, okay.
Alrighty, we promised you some Clarinerviums. We've got a full tray of different types of hybrids.
Yes,
So
lots.
it's heavy. Maybe we can quickly go through them.
I'm going to take this one.
Yes, let's have a look. What have we
Let's
got
talk
there?
about this one first. So this one is a Clarinervium hybrid, obviously, but you'll notice it has this amazing rippled, almost like ribboned edge. I'm not really
frilly,
sure.
huh?
Yeah, I'm not really sure how that came about. I don't know what it was hybridized with. I think it may have just been a random one, but I've actually been using the pollen for this to hybridize others. So for example, if you can see in the bag here, you'll see on our Clarinervium king here, I used pollen on one of these inflows. This was the oldest inflow. It's been going for about 6 to 8 months now. This has popped up in less than 2 months.
Wow.
So it just shows that that pollen's working really, really well with that other Clarinervium.
So what kind of other Clarinervium was that?
So we call this one Clary King. This one was imported from overseas as far as I know. It's a really cool hybrid. It gets really quite like pinched base leaves. Even though they are quite round still, they tend to concave and be quite pinched at the base. It gives it that really long, elongated look, which is quite pretty.
And it has like a bit of a pink
Sinus, it has like a little bit of a pink sinus.
Nice.
Yeah. And then we have a beautiful, beautiful, almost like blue-grey one on the side here, which again is another hybrid and is absolutely stunning. I've used the pollen from this guy, even though he was already hybridized, to then pollinate this one. So they're all going to be interbred babies.
Wow, okay. I do want to talk about this one as well.
Yeah.
I know it has a bit of, I suppose that's slug damage. Was that slugs, the holes?
I'm not really sure. I think it's
or maybe it's just even damage when they're really small, right?
Small.
And then when they expand. But I love this white sinus that it has. It's very, very unique.
Yes. So
do you know what that might have been hybridized
again,
with?
I don't know this one.
Okay.
This is an older hybrid. Again, it came from someone else. But we kept it because in this leaf you can see it looked kind of somewhat normal, but not as round. And then the next leaf that came out, the size was even lower.
That's really pretty.
With the leaves and the lobes, which is really nice.
Beautiful.
But yeah, definitely going to keep that one and breed it with some more mamas.
And then very last we have this one with a new leaf coming out as well.
Yeah.
Is that like the most, that's how I know Clarinervium? That's what I picture when I think about Clarinervium?
Yeah, almost like the heart shape and the turtle shell kind of pattern. That's like your typical Clarinervium.
Beautiful. So the good thing with these claries, I see them being grown indoors quite a bit.
Yes.
So I suppose the issue that most people have with Anthuriums is they really like high humidity, right? So
yeah, they do like high humidity and they thrive in high humidity, but that's not the case all the time. So
and the clary seems to be doing okay with like lower humidity as well.
Yeah, the one thing I do say to people is if you're going to just have this in your home without having that high humidity is use your nice chunky aroid mix like Jana's done videos in the past. Use your chunky aroid mix and then put a layer of sphagnum around. Don't hug it too close to the stem. You want to kind of like bank it around like a donut. And what that'll do is it'll help kind of keep and capture some humidity pockets within the pot.
Yes, stop it from drying out, right? Because they really don't want to dry out, right?
No, because then you end up having those dry edges on the leaves, and the leaves are the best part, you know, and they're so beautiful.
Yes.
There you go.
Done with the claries, I think.
Yes, I think we're done with the claries.
Alrighty, I thought we'd just take up a few ones that I thought are interesting and we talk about them. So, AJ, what are you doing right now?
I'm making babies.
Okay, let me maybe put my hand behind it so the camera can pick it up. So this is a puppy hybrid, I think you said?
Yes.
And this inflow is receptive, and it's receptive, and you can tell that by that little juice.
It's nice and juicy and wet.
Perfect. And what are you pollinating it with?
So I'm using a crystal hybrid to pollinate it with, a nice silver veiny hybrid. So hopefully we'll get some really cool seeds out of it. Perfect. This one I haven't done any back research with, so this is kind of just a whim, like a test. And I don't have too much pollen left, but hopefully it does the trick.
Perfect. So basically there's two ways of getting this done. You could either do some research to find out which hybrids work.
Yeah, so I think I've heard of numerous people that breed Anthuriums that a really good way of getting a bit of a leg up on whether it's going to work or not is doing research where they
originate from?
Yes,
yeah.
where they originate from. So let's say they both come from Colombia, then you've got a really high chance that they will be able to cross-pollinate because they've come from the same area.
Because that's what they would basically do in nature as well, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Makes total sense. And the other way is just trial and error, and you'll see if it takes.
Trial and error, and there's some really cool hybrids out there. Some people have created some amazing different kind of Anthuriums, which is really cool.
Nice. All right, let's look at another one.
Yeah.
Alrighty, this one really stands out to me because, I mean, just look at... just look at this red color, and
it's gorgeous.
I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but it has like a bluish sheen to it as well. Like, this is beautiful. What is this?
I think it's derived from a Hoffmanii, Pappy, and Dislerii kind of hybrid. Even Doriaki.
So a bit of everything.
Bit of everything. The mutt.
Yeah, okay.
Bit of a mutt.
Well, it works. It's like the most beautiful mud I've ever seen. So.
But see, this is the thing. You can take all of these different Anthuriums and mix them together just to create some insanely beautiful hybrids.
Perfect.
So, yeah, I love this one. It's really, really pretty.
Let's have a look at this one. I like this one because it has like a red sinus. So in case anybody's not familiar with it, the sinus is that little bit at the top.
It's like a little nose, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah, and that's basically where the petiole inserts into the leaf as well, right?
And so this one's actually got some pollen on it. So what we could do is be a bit cheeky, and we can actually rub this inflow onto another receptive inflow, and then I just take note which ones I've put together. And that way I don't have to collect any pollen. I just literally do it on the spot, which is really cool.
I mean, that's the in an ideal world you would always use fresh pollen.
Well, that's the most natural way of doing it, right? That's what the bees do. So.
If you don't have an absorbent amount of inflows, you can just take the pollen, put it in aluminum foil if you're American, and
alfoil if you're Australian,
and you can just put it in the freezer, right?
Yes,
yeah, that's
you
what
can freeze it.
I've had some of them in the freezer for a few months, and they still seem to be okay.
That's it. I believe it's a Guatemalan hybrid, which has got like almost like an oily look to the leaf with a sheen, but it's been hybridized with a queen.
Well,
which, bear in mind, can actually be quite hard to hybridize. But it's taken, and the seeds, that's why I put a bag over it, the seeds are just about to start popping. Actually, right behind here, if you spin it around,
oh, sorry.
It's just about to pop a seed here.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
and they're spiky. That's the queens do that, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's why I picked it out, because actually I'm not a particular fan of the leaf in itself, but I thought the inflow looked really interesting with the spiky berries.
Yeah, this leaf sadly got decapitated in the tray, but it is usually quite a little bit longer.
Nice.
Like this is going to be an interesting hybrid. We'll see how it works out. Yeah.
Excited to see what.
I put the bag on these ones to just encourage the berries to pop. Then once the berries start to pop, like this. Excuse the plants, I had to chop it back. But once the berries start to pop, I take the bag off so it doesn't create any mold or any issues there. And the bag just lets it breathe, but it lets all the seeds kind of just fall on their own.
I love that. What is that? Is that?
These are actually vegetable bags. These are actually, you buy them to put over your veggies in the garden so they don't get eaten by insects. So, yeah.
It looks like things you give people for Christmas,
like
a little Christmas gift bag. This is really nice. I like that idea because I've had that issue before. I put Ziploc bags over it, but I got moldy.
Yeah, so you gotta just watch it and
That's
just
a great
gauge.
tip.
It's another tip I got from another grower. So it's been really, really cool learning about all this stuff.
My next one, what have we got over here? This is really nice and dark.
This is a really nice Pappy hybrid. This is really close to what a Pappy looks like, in the sense it has all the I can't say that word.
Characteristics.
Characteristics.
Features.
It has all the features. Has all the really close features. Obviously, Pappies are a little bit longer in shape, but oh my god, this is stunning. It's just such a beautiful, beautiful plant. This one did get a chop back at the beginning of spring. Some fresh foliage, and that's the newest leaf that came out, and I'm in love.
Nice. I really like the darkness.
Dark, yeah.
I know that puppies are a lot of people like using them for their hybrids because it gives them the darkness, right?
Yeah.
And everybody's after that darkness at the moment.
It's used in a lot of hybrids in here.
Nice.
And in hybrids we don't even really know about, because sometimes you just don't even know where they originate from. But yeah, they're a good base, a very good base.
I do want to look at something over here because you guys know I'm a sucker for moss pole.
Yeah.
And I think I can only see a couple that you've actually got on poles, but this one you do have on a pole, and it's a grow vertical pole with a see-through back.
Yes.
And I really wanted to show everybody the roots. But first, what is it? What do we have here?
What do you think it is? If you could
it looks like a queen hybrid.
Yes.
It looks like a hybrid of queen with Panama Mama.
Yeah, Panamans.
Yes. That one.
I think that's how you pronounce it. Please don't quote me on the pronunciation, but so it's a
Queen.
Warracriina.
It's the queen, bro.
So it's a queen cross Penimans, and it's such a beautiful hybrid. It did get a little bit too sun-kissed in the greenhouse, so I brought it in here, chopped off some old foliage, and you can see it's popped out 2 new leaves. It's a double header, this one, and a hitchhiking fern. But most of all, it has grown a whole new root system. So this guy actually got a bit of root rot, so it had no roots in the base. These are all new roots within the last 6 months, and the roots all up in the pole are all brand new as well, and it has just gone absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, I mean, I love that this little fern has just hitched like
I know,
the pot. That's
it's
cute.
just made its way
But
in.
yeah, you can really see how the roots have grown into the moss pole, and then the moss pole is channeling them back into the pot.
Yeah.
So let's maybe talk about the pole a little bit more.
Yeah.
Why is it that you gave this one a pole, but none of the other ones do?
Well, first of all the others could have poles. I just haven't had time to do it yet.
Yes.
But
That's kind of the answer I was hoping
yes,
for.
all of them can have poles, but specifically anything that has a really long leaf, where you tend to put it on a pole, because it just gives it more support, and so that the leaves can actually grow taller and hang over wider. If you don't give it a pole, it can just be a bit spindly. It's a great way to propagate them as well. Like any Anthurium in general, you can put on a pole. You can literally put it on a pole. It's really bizarre.
They just climb really, really slowly, right? And we saw it at the very beginning when you were saying about you can, you know, the internodal spacing, and like Anthuriums have very, very short internodal spacing, right?
And some are more dinkier than others. So you've got like the silver blush and the Doriakis. Doriaki? Is that right?
I think so. This one, right?
Yeah, so like silver blush.
Yeah.
They're a lot dinkier in the stem, a lot flatter, like things like this with silver blush hybrid in it. They're a lot fatter and dinkier stems, like shorter and more dense.
Yes. You'd have a hard time trying to actually cut between nodes over here, because you don't really have a very clear distinction between nodes.
Yeah.
But if you pop that on a pole, it would still climb up and it would grow a lot of roots into the pole.
100%.
But
it would just be an extension.
it would just be really slow as well, right? Like it would just, I love that. It would be a vertical extension to the pot, but
but then you get things like the Veitchii and the Magnificum, or even crystals, and they would connect into the pole and be very happy.
Yeah, it would just take a long, long time until they reach the top. So you probably want to have a shorter pole, but like thicker. You want volume in there so it can grow a large root system, but you don't really need height in those poles, right?
100%, yeah.
Yeah, and the plastic backing would really help with keeping it moist, right? Because they really don't like to dry out. There's this thing where people say, like, specifically when growing indoors, they're saying, like, let the mix dry out before you water it, which I think is just such a silly piece of advice. Like, I think it's trying to stop people from overwatering their plants. But if you've got the right medium for your plants, they shouldn't, like, they're not cacti that actually like to dry out, right? I mean, this greenhouse is definitely a little bit overwhelming. There's so much in here to see, and a lot of them look very similar, and you really need to look at it with a lot of time in detail. You probably need to spend a lot of time to actually start being able to differentiate between all of them. So
which I still can't do sometimes.
Which is totally fine, you know, that's why you use labels. Good on you. I just really wanted to point out a few that caught my eye, the ones that I thought looked really stunning, and those are the ones that I kind of feel like I could add to my collection. But I probably need to upgrade from my little IKEA cabinet a little bit.
You definitely need to, especially your queen. I think she needs a whole new cabinet of her own.
For sure. But I mean, we're growing with very different intentions over here as well. As said, this is a shared collection for you, and really the main purpose is to create hybrids, you know,
breed, make some really cool different Anthuriums, and see what thrives and what works.
Nice.
Because the coolest thing is when you can come up with a hybrid that's different to everyone else's. So I think that's what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the opposite. I kind of just start chopping all of my inflows off because I don't want my plants to spend energy on inflows. And I think you see that with a lot of these plants as well. The leaves are a little bit damaged, or they don't hold on to too many leaves because you're actually making the plant focus a lot of the energy into the inflows and then building berries and so on, which is the opposite of what I want to do. I want my plants to focus on the leaves because I just purely grow them for aesthetic reasons.
So I'll continue with the inflows for probably another month or two, and then I'll start chopping them off and just working on growing the plant and making it healthy again for next season. Yeah,
I mean, the one thing that nobody's seen yet is that second tent with all the seedlings. So, I mean, if you would...
you guys have no idea.
I feel overwhelmed on your behalf. Like, I would not know what to do with all of these seedlings. I literally have 2 little pots of seedlings, and I'm already like, what am I going to do with all of these?
So that's another video for another day. But if you can imagine just this size shelf full of seedlings.
Yeah, and I mean, some of these inflows can easily carry like, hundreds of berries.
Hundreds. Actually, wait right there.
Oh, I like this one. This one is sexy too, huh? Oh, fuck yeah, look at the veining. That's sexy.
Yeah,
what is that?
Nice.
Do you know?
That one is
Hoffmanii
cross red hybrid stem. Oh, just a Hoffmanii hybrid. Yeah.
Okay, nice. I like it. Look at it.
It is beautiful, that one.
Alright, sorry.
Yes.
You were so
like just one inflow. This is just from one inflow. So
that would have been a decent sized inflow though, right?
It was quite a large one,
okay.
yes. It's quite a mature one. But they're all starting to get their little fuzzy roots. I don't necessarily keep them like this. I usually have a piece of paper over the top, wet paper, just to keep them moist. But
yeah, I can see how this
yeah.
could get very overwhelming very quickly if all of these go into like a little seed and you pot them up individually.
Very quickly.
You've got your work cut out for you.
Yes, I
But
do.
that's good. But what we also know is that there's going to be Anthurium hybrids all over growing grounds.
Until I'm 151.
Yes.
I'm going to be handing Anthuriums down to my children. I'm going to be giving them away as Christmas presents.
Yes. Everybody's getting Anthuriums for Christmas. Perfect.
Yeah, that's how it's going to be, I think, for the rest of my life. But it is such a cool hobby to have. I'm learning so much. Like I said, I'm not a professional, but I very quickly am being forced to learn stuff that I didn't think I'd ever learn about.
That's how we do, trial and error, right?
That's
Like
it.
I think nobody started this as being professional. You only become professional because you do all of this.
That's
These
it.
things aren't in textbooks at times, you know, like
Not really.
not
There
if
are
you want to
some
create
people-
your own unique ones.
Yeah, and
you know.
I mean, there are some people that do this full time as well, but they don't tend to share their information. They tend to hold on to it. So learning it is a whole
Maybe
new
we
thing.
contributed to the opposite by filming this video at least a
it.
little bit. So
Now you can all go make your own babies.
yes. So if you want to know how to actually get to berries, I do have a really, really simple video on how to, you know, go from inflow to berry and then to actually seedling eventually. So I'll link that at the end screen. But AJ, where can people find you?
You can find me at Growing Grounds on Instagram. If you find me there, there's a link in my bio. You can find me everywhere.
And I'll link your Instagram
Yes.
and everything else, all your
Yes.
socials, I'll link it in the
Yes,
description.
please.
So please,
Yeah.
please make sure to check out AJ, her Instagram, her shop. She's gonna start a YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's happening.
It's
Well,
happening.
actually, it's
I'm gonna-
already happened.
Okay.
There are shorts. It's all the stuff that's from Instagram anyway, but actual videos are coming very, very soon.
Nice. I'll link your YouTube down below as well so that when AJ puts up her first full-length video,
I'm nervous.
you're ready for it. Don't worry, I'll send it to you. Don't need to be nervous. I'm sure people are gonna love all of the info that you've got to share with us.
Yeah.
But I think we really need to wrap it up because
Yeah.
it's extremely hot in this
It's so
tent.
hot.
It's very like,
We're
I understand.
Holding on for dear life.
I understand how these Anthuriums are thriving
No,
in here.
it's warm.
Yes. All right.
Yeah, we're getting a suntan in here.
Yes, I know. We are actually. No, I'm gonna get sunburned.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something. I hope it was interesting for everybody.
Yeah.
And I'll see you very soon because I've seen you do some changes in the greenhouse. And I think everybody would be excited to
I
see
think
the new
so.
setup as well. So I'm sure we'll be back really shortly and I'll give
Yeah.
you an updated tour on AJ's greenhouse outdoors with all of the non-Anthuriums.
There's still Anthuriums out there too,
Yeah.
though.
They're everywhere.
freaking
Anyway,
everywhere.
and you're creating more, so
Yes,
don't worry,
yeah.
this problem's here to stay. Alright, thank you so much. Like, subscribe, and leave a nice comment, and I'll see you next time around. Bye.
See ya. Bye.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I haven't even thought this one through at all. Hang on. Hi everybody. Last time I was at the Growing Grounds greenhouse. Growing Grounds greenhouse is like a fucking mouthful, seriously. Sorry! Why did I sound British? Alrighty, here we are. AJ,
Yeah?
what are you doing? We're already recording.
I'm making some babies.
Well, then wait for us. We want to make babies with you.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
You really enjoyed last time I went to visit. Okay. Alright. Back by
This bad boy.
Oh,
No, it's dead.
I thought it was looked cute. Okay.
Dead. It's dead.
What